Well, good evening, ladies. I told you all this morning, it is the Piangela Jones takeover in the SheEO district. Listen, I am still excited as I was at 9 a.m. It is business week here in the SheEO district. And if you don't know, now you know. We are doing an official relaunch of the SheEO district, and we are pressing live on that tribe button on Wednesday morning. And listen, you want to be a part of that movement. So as we go live all week, we want you to come on in, join in, share this out right now with anybody that you want to see succeed. If you want to see someone besides yourself succeed, share this right now. If you want to see someone else win in business, share this out right now. If you are not selfish and not greedy for gain, but you love paying it back or paying it forward and giving back, share this broadcast right now because the energy is real. And here in the SheEO district, we want to see you living successfully in your business, but also in your health, in your mental health, in your social abilities. Listen, we want to make sure you get your money up, but that you also understand what it means to have someone by your side that cares about you. If you don't know who I am, listen, my name is Piangela Jones. I am a coach. I'm a marriage coach and a passion coach. I host a radio show on our radio every Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. entitled The Morning Dew, because great marriages are made in the morning. Yes, I'm an author. I'm a friend. I'm a sister. I'm a very good wife. Ask my husband all about me. And most importantly, I'm an entrepreneur, and that's why we're here together in the SheEO district. And I just absolutely love being here, introducing women to great things and great people. We have a phenomenal guest on here tonight. She's a powerhouse. And listen, y'all, she's young too. And she's getting to the money. You know what I'm saying? And so we want to hear from her. We want to celebrate her. We want to honor her. So I want you to make sure that you're liking, you're commenting, you're sharing. Let me get to these comments and see what y'all saying over here. Hello. Thanks for tagging. Okay, someone said my voice is distorted. Do I need to do something? Let me see. Okay, let me refresh, y'all. I'll be right back. All righty, how about now? Can you all hear me? Can you all see me? Do I sound good? Is my mouth moving and the voice coming out? Is it clear? If it's clear, we're going to roll with it. Much better. Awesome. Okay. Really quickly, I'm just going to reintroduce myself. My name is Piangela Jones. I am the Queen of the Jones. I'm a marriage and passion coach. I love women. I love God, and I love helping people get to where they need to go in their purpose. And tonight, I'm hosting a wonderful woman who has done a lot in her very short 27 years of age. And I want to express to you all that this is the relaunch week for the SheEO district. We are relaunching into the deep, okay? So we want to make sure you get connected. If you don't know someone in the tribe, that's okay. You can tag or inbox any of us. We're very personable, and we'll give you all the information that you need. Just make sure you're in here all week, because we're going to be going live and giving you guys all of the information you need to know to be a part of the tribe of the SheEO district. Okay, so without any further ado, let me go into my guest bio. Y'all know I love reading bios, okay? Tonight, we have Talisha Birdsong, the owner of Dream Financial Services. Talisha is a 27-year-old success-driven entrepreneur and philanthropist. She is a six-figure business owner who loves to give back to the community by teaching financial literacy and hosting financial events, going to schools throughout her community. Talisha believes by giving back to her community that she is being the change she wants to see. She is a financial and business coach and is affectionately called Coach T. Spreading the knowledge of how to be financially successful is her priority. Her passion is, come on now, for our youth to be financially secure as they become young adults. She also has a heart for her hometown, Nashville, Tennessee, where she consistently talks and coaches her students and peers. None other, y'all. Come on with it, Coach T. How are you tonight? Coach T, I can't see
Can y'all
you.
hear me? Can you hear me now?
There you go. There you go, honey. Hey, how you doing?
Well, how are you?
I'm so excited to have you, so excited to host you, so excited to get into this millennial mindset and money coach. Come on, at
Yes.
27. That is so awesome. Listen, I was telling her backstage, y'all, in the green room, listen, at 27, I wasn't thinking about my mindset or my money. I was somewhere doing something I had no business doing. And so I am so excited to be a host for women, especially on International Women's Day, where we are celebrating women of all walks of life. A young woman who decided at a young age, not me, not so. And I know that it's commonly said of younger generations that they're lost or they don't know what's going on or, just kind of wave their hands at them. But listen, Coach T Birdsong right here is letting us know, oh, there is hope. Not only is there hope, I have something to teach you all too. So Coach T, tell us something about you.
Well, of course, as you said, I am 27. And I'm a business and financial coach. I believe solely that it takes a village. So I had a village as I was growing up, although I didn't listen. Let's be honest. We talked about it. You might be young, but sometimes we get hard-headed, and I had to understand sometimes you got to meet people where they are. So that's why I got into this industry to begin with, because I want the youth to have somebody that they can relate to. And just because of my story alone, I thought that was really, that's something I could take and use to really grab hold of our youth and get them educated on the forefront so that they don't have to say, well, I didn't learn this in school on the back end.
Right. Listen, you're already coming in powerful, Coach T, by being honest. Now, see, listen, here in the SheEO district, you can only learn really when you're honest and when you're being truthful. And a lot of business owners, we're learning to do that. So I'm excited to get into the content of overcoming the fear of rejection. But you said something already. You said, I didn't listen at first. I didn't listen at first, and that was honest. And listen, you think that has to do with your age, but listen, there are people my age and older that still are not listening. So active listening is a great skill that you have already acquired, and that's an amazing thing. So tell us how you got into the financial world.
Let's talk about that not listening, okay?
Okay.
As I was a child, I was very sheltered. My mom, she was really big on making sure that she blocked me from the world so I wouldn't get hurt by the world. Well, we already know when you're a kid and you're like closed in, when you become an adult, you're like, I'm grown. I can do whatever I want to do. Right. And as I turned 18, that's exactly what I did. I moved out like fresh at 18, pregnant with my son. I was a baby trying to raise a baby. And I found myself getting evicted, literally eviction after eviction, repossession after repossession, because I wasn't old enough at the time to understand the importance of finances. And then it got to that point, that one moment where you got 30 days to move and nobody wants to rent to you because of your track record with not paying your bills. And I learned about a thing called credit and the importance of finances. So as I started to try to fix my situation, I remember that moment like it was yesterday, going to Google saying, how can you remove an eviction from your credit to move without paying it? Start getting into things about repairing my credit, start learning how to budget and save, because it got to a point where I was homeless. And yes, I was homeless, and I had to make that choice. Do you feed your son, or do you guys share? Are you gonna let him stay at the babysitter a little bit longer because you don't have anywhere for him to go? And I had to really I had to get in that moment where I broke down in my car and was like, something got to change. And I had to completely hit rock bottom for me to fix it for myself. And then as I fixed it for myself, I started to, want to do it for other people, trying to get my friends educated on what this thing called finances is, what it looks like. And I started to get a desire for that. And as that desire got stronger, it became a business. And now I literally do this full time because it's something that I enjoy doing, seeing how a community can change just by, changing the way you think and changing the way you go about certain things that we're normally scared of.
Listen, Coach T, you had me at homeless. And let me tell you why you had me at homeless, because I've been homeless 3 times in my life with my children. So we're going to have a good conversation tonight, because we can't skip over how you transition from the car breaking down to the business, getting it together, because there are women out here. They may not be homeless, Coach T, but they going through what they're going through. They have their breaking point. And I want to talk to all night tonight women at their breaking point, because I too built my business in a hotel on the side of the road in my car, built my business and was coaching people in the laundromat. That's why I see people with the green screen. It was cute. Yeah, I didn't know the green screen was in the laundromat. I was praying y'all didn't hear boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. But you know what? I got through that moment, but we can't hop, skip, and jump over that. So let's back up. When you were in that dark place, in that low place, in that place of not enough, what was one of the things that really made you say, I've got to do this and bring somebody with me? Because it's one thing to get yourself out of a bad situation, but it's another thing to say, you know what, somebody else got to have that. What was that like for you?
It was the moment. It started with my son. He was a baby, so he didn't understand. But I as a mom, for all the moms, from going from a child or from an adult to a parent, it's a whole different feeling. And I remember one day sitting in my car, and I'm just driving around in Nashville, just literally 9, 10 o'clock at night, trying to figure out, pride won't let me go here, but confidence won't let me go here. And I remember sitting in the car and I'm just crying, boohooing. I could barely see the roads. And I'm like, something got to change. And I remember the moment I stopped at a Save-A-Lot parking lot, and I looked back at my son in his car seat, and I was like, you will never have to feel this pain that I'm feeling right now. You'll never go hungry again. I'll never have to make the choice to decide if you're going to eat, if we're going to eat together, or what decision I have to make. Because let's be real, that milk is $20 a can, okay? And I had to make a choice. Yeah, I had to make a choice. And so at that moment, when I looked at my son and had said that, and he just smiled, at that point, I remembered what it felt like. And so that's why I got so strong on coaching other people, specifically women, out of this storm. Because if I had somebody to tell me at that moment, everything's going to be okay, T, just keep fighting, T, just keep pushing. Because I got to be honest, there was times where I've attempted suicide. There's times where I wanted to throw in the towel. There's times where I wanted to give my son up for adoption because I felt like I wasn't a good mom. But it was that moment right there when I was like, you will never have to feel this again. That every time after that, when I decided I was ready to quit, I was ready to throw in the towel, I was ready to give up, I had to go back and look at that little boy that I talked to in that car seat that gave me that little cute smile when I told him he'll never have to go through that again. So that's what pushed me to want to tell moms and share with moms, your finances may not look the way you want them to for your kids right now, but they're eating. You got a roof over your head. Your kids got food. They have clothes on their back. They may not have what the other kids in school have, but you're providing. And just trying to, and that's why, I consider myself to be the mindset and money coach, because I'm a firm believer that when you shift your mind, your money shifts. As long as you know you can do it and you say you can do it and you think you can do it, it happens. So I had to remember that moment. And sometimes I have to take my students back to that moment. This is going to be uncomfortable. Let's go back to that hurt. Let's go back to that pain and figure out exactly why you don't want to feel that again. I promise you, if you focus on that, that's considered your reason why you'll never be in this situation again.
Listen, Coach T, I'm over here taking notes, honey, because you're putting grown women up on game right now. Let me tell you something. People come in and out of the district each day and ask us questions to what and you're giving us the answer right now. You said when you change your mind, your money shifts. Everyone's looking for the money shift. Everyone's looking for the money shift. They want that money to start flowing in their direction. But a lot of times we don't know the process to get there. And you're telling us right now that the process to get to the money is your mind.
It is.
And that does not require business loans. That does not require 800 credit scores. Come on. That does not require a full-fledged business plan. That does not even require having your LLC set up for your EIN. You're telling us, Coach T, that the first thing you need to do is make up your mind.
Exactly.
And I mean, that is just amazing. And thank you for being visual, and thank you for sharing and going there with me. I know I'm going to pull on you a little bit tonight, but I need to do that, and just know that you're talking to someone that's been there. But I need to do that for the women that are listening, because sometimes we get stuck in our own way. Yeah. And we look at our circumstances and we let our circumstances dictate to us what we cannot do. But as you tell your students, you look at your circumstances and tell them what to do.
Exactly.
And listen, that's a blessing. Okay, so tell me what it was like coaching your first client.
Ooh, I was scared to death, okay? I was terrified because I felt like one of the things that I'm learning about your mind altogether is it tries its best to protect you, and not realizing that protection can hurt you at the same time. So it says, T, don't do that. You don't have enough experience. T, don't go there. You don't know anything about that. Don't talk to them about this because you're not in a high place. And I went into that coaching scared. And I remember this is one thing that I told myself in that coaching. I was like, how can you be afraid of something you've never experienced before? And I remember telling my mom that same thing. Like, you spent 52 years of your life not getting on an airplane because of what others said. And so I thought about that in my own mind. You literally have not coached. You know the knowledge because I coach from experience. I always say it. I can't coach you from something I read out of a book because I don't understand it. I coach you from experience. And so we got in that session and we just talked. And it was they'll tell you, I'm not one of those people that needs a PowerPoint or scripted. Let's talk about it. Let's see where you are. Let's see what problem you have. And I always start with prayer. Because one, that makes me comfortable. Two, that puts us in a place where we're like, hey, I need you to know that I'm here for you the same way you're here for me. And I talked to them as a friend. And so I remember she was older than me. So I'm like, this woman really just, okay, I don't know. I can't coach, you're kind of older than me. You're supposed to be teaching me something. And just to hear her, her voice and she cried and she was like, you don't understand how much you're blessing me by teaching me these things. And I literally spoke from experience. And so at that moment, I learned that I had a gift, and that gift was my passion, because I went into it with the passion. I didn't go into it thinking about, she paid me this much money, I'm good. I got to do this, and this. When I start coaching from the heart, that's how our connection was strong. And I learned at that moment, T, you're not a scripted person. Don't try to go in here with notes. You write as you go. You speak as you go. And it freaked me out at first. And I remember her, she could tell. She was like, are you okay? And I had to be honest. I was like, you're my first client. I'm scared, okay, but we're gonna do this together. and I think that made her, I love the fact that she was older, because it allowed her, she was honest with me. She was like, you walk in it. You coach me because it was something that you said that made me want to buy. So now I need you to give me what it is that I was looking for. And at that moment, we just talked about it, and it was a simple conversation, and just her encouragement. Because I could have got anybody. Somebody like, you didn't give me my money's worth. But I had somebody that was willing to encourage me, and it let me know at that point that was divine purpose. it was needed. She was the first person I was supposed to coach because she encouraged me to keep going.
Coach C, listen, you are so phenomenal, and I pray that I find space to be able to share with you what I see. But I see some growth and some phenomenal things in your future, and I'm just overjoyed at how amazing you are. It's the honesty for me. Okay? Listen, it's the honesty for me, because most people will not admit when they coach their first client they were terrified. It's terrifying to show up, to show up in your greatness, to show up in your light, to say, you know what, I have a gift, I have something. I told this little boy, we're not going through this no more. So I have to go forward, no matter how scary forward looks like, and I'm gonna do it. And actually look at someone who should be able to teach you something and show up in that greatness and have something to give. That is so powerful right now. I want to go ahead and just go ahead and maybe hopefully be one of the first people to tell you, listen, you have another coaching level, business coaching. Because, honey, you getting our mindset and our money together. We even got to the money, but business coaching, how to start a business, how to endure through homelessness in a business. You have that at 27 years old, babe, that's going to take you everywhere. Okay? We're going to go from local to national to international when you add that business coaching to your belt, because you got it already, just off the strength. So I just had to let that go. I had to release that into your life. Okay? That one's for free. Okay? But listen, y'all, let's just take a break, a little pause right here, and like go ahead and tag some more people in this, because every day women are looking for the answers to these type of questions. How do I start when I've never started before? You said something about not having PowerPoint, not having a bunch of notes. You just went in with your experience. You led with experience. That is one of the most powerful things that you can do when you are launching a business. Why? Yeah. Because people can Google some notes. People can look up and get some YouTube on some how-tos. But what you cannot purchase from anybody unless they give it to you is experience.
Yep.
Experience is the best teacher. That's why I tell people, if you bake cookies and you just eyeballing it, baby, keep eyeballing it. Well, I don't know. Maybe I should get my recipes all written down. Okay, we'll get there one day. But right now, bake them chocolate chip cookies and package them up and sell them, bad boys, and get your business going. So you have had, I love your story already. I'm just so super, super excited. Listen, you have some people on here that love you. Speak It, Coach T. Hey, Coach from Macretia. She also said, experience is the best teacher. Listen, you have some loved ones on here that love you, that are sharing this out, and that are excited to hear from you. So I want to go ahead and ask my next question, and I want to ask you about rejection. I want to know about rejection in your life, and what role did rejection play in you becoming the millennial mindset and money coach?
Everything. I'm a firm believer from experience. You have to have 7 no's until you get a yes. And, when I first started, because, I started in credit repair before I was a financial coach. And let's be honest, that's an industry where people aren't too easily persuaded about giving their personal information, and being a 21-year-old saying, hey, I fixed credit. They're like, you ain't even lived life yet. What? No, ma'am. And so I heard a lot of people tell me no. And there was times when I wanted to give up. There's times I wanted to be like, you know what, forget this business. I literally worked my 9 to 5 for 5 years while running a business before I decided to take it full time. And that's because I got so many no's. And it actually, I'm a little different than a lot of people, because those no's actually motivated me. I got real hungry, like, I need it, because I was so I was so caught in proving people wrong. And when I first started the business, a lot of people, family included, can I be honest? A lot of people told me, you shouldn't get in that industry. You don't know nothing about numbers. You shouldn't get in that. You don't know anything about, doing this or doing that. You don't know the first thing about starting a business. You have a 2-year-old son. That doesn't make sense. And because the Capricorn in me wanted to prove them wrong, I pushed just to prove them wrong. So what you have to understand in business is that you have to work to prove society wrong, because society labeled me as a statistic. I was a high school mom. I walked across the stage pregnant. Society had already said I was going to be in poverty. I was going to live on Section 8. I was going to have food stamps. They told me that I was going to be this person that didn't want to do better for myself. And I had to get to this mindset that I really want to prove these people wrong because I'm better than that. But it was so many people telling me no that I got afraid at one point. Can I be real? I was nervous. Like, man, I don't know. Ugh. Maybe they're right. I did have those moments, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I didn't. There was moments I was like, maybe they're right. Maybe my aunts are right. Maybe my uncles are right. Maybe my cousins are right. I shouldn't do this. But I had to remember, see, I say all the time, when you remember why you started, the likelihood of you quitting is slim to none. You have to literally go back to that starting point. Why did I do this to begin with? And I had to go back because there was times I said, I don't know. But you got to get to this mindset that I want to prove these people wrong because they told me that I can't. Let me show you that I can. You got to work so hard that the people who wouldn't allow you to sit at the table, that you build your own until they get to the point that they're asking you, can they come sit at yours? That's how you got to work. You got to be willing to say, okay, now come sit at mine so I can teach you what I know based on the experience that you wouldn't give me. And that's what really pushed me to be a better person, to elevate, because I had to get to this mentality that they may have said no, but I'm going to tell myself yes because I owe it to my son.
Come on. Coach T, listen, if y'all don't sign up with Coach T just off the strength of her being real and authentic, listen, we need real and authentic in this day and age. In the day and age of fake news and people just saying anything out the side of their mouth, you need someone in your corner that's going to tell it like it is. So especially when it comes to your money, people will get on here, take 2 courses and say, okay, let me fix your credit. But what Coach T is saying, I bring another level to the table. As a matter of fact, I don't need you to tell me what I can bring. I'm going to go ahead and lay it out and I'm going to show you. Listen, this is what you need, sisters. It is business week. Can we talk about how it is SheEO Business Week and we are getting to the business? She is laying us flat out. Listen, I am just like, I'm so overwhelmed with excitement, Coach, because it is our relaunch week. And so a relaunch I talked about earlier today is a reintroduction of yourself. And sometimes people will come at you like, oh, that we know T, she don't know. Well, she don't know nothing about that. What? She barely passed. She barely graduated. She barely this, she barely that. Listen, this is what they say, not just about you, but they're saying this about everybody. Everybody has somebody with naysaying in the back of their head and the back of their neck, but what they weren't there for was that struggle. See, nobody was in that car that night when you broke down, but you and your baby. So when you get to that point, when you are at the bottom and you go back to your why, my why is also my where. For me, my why is what nobody there but me, my husband, and my kids. You can't tell me nothing, especially if I believe God told me, especially if I was the one that would have to endure all of the hard times. Listen, I may be stumbling into my purpose, but I'm a stumble though.
Yeah.
I'm a stumble. What I'm not going to do is sit down and let you berate me, because people will do it every time, honey. And they'll be over there nickel and diming, waiting on you to show up in all your glory. And then talk about, oh, that's my cousin. Oh my God, I love her. I love her. I love her. People do it every day. But I'm just so excited to see you in all of this strength and all of this empowerment. You are just phenomenal. I'm just so happy. Listen, I'm real excited. I'm a mom at heart, and I'm just like, wow, I'm just so excited for all of the young women that you're going to impact their lives, for all of the young women that you're going to inspire, all of the teen moms. So let me go in another direction. Talk to me about some of the ways you give back to young people and some of the things that you do for people your age and younger to inspire them and maybe kind of divert them from taking the path that you had to take and doing something new.
Absolutely. So I do host a lot of financial seminars for youth. I tailor them specifically right now to my clients. So as they're repairing their credit, one of the things that I hear all the time is I didn't learn this in school. My parents didn't teach me this. So I try to make it to where all of my clients don't have, their kids don't have to say that same thing. So as long as they're enrolled in my program, I try to teach their children the importance of a piggy bank, the importance of saving your allowance and splitting your allowance, trying to get them educated early, because we got to be honest, we don't learn this in school, but that doesn't stop us from learning it somewhere. And it takes a village to raise kids. So if this is what I'm good at, that's what I choose to do. Also with specifically female entrepreneurs, once a month I select one entrepreneur, and it's considered my good deed for the month, that I actually donate and bless $1,000 into their business. Because one of the things that I believe is that you got to have somebody that's willing to believe in you the way you believe in yourself, and that's what pushes you. See, my grandmother, she believed in me. But even though she passed away before I became an adult, one thing that I know is she was always there. When I said I was throwing in the towel, you get this headache in the back of your head, like Granny done smacked me again. I'm just kidding. But I had to, I realized that you got to have somebody there that supports you. So even if it's something, that I always try to do it privately, because everything doesn't need public recognition. So I'll reach out to that person and say, hey, can I bless you? And then it's based on their response. A lot of people, they run away from their blessings because they just say, okay, this random person is reaching out to me. But those people that are willing to accept the blessings and not willing to, let's say, decline a blessing, because you never know who God is going to send to bless you. I'll bless them. And sometimes, that could help take you over the hump, so that or even investing in your business, whatever you choose to do with it at that moment, after it's left my hands, it's on you. So those are some of the ways that I actually try to, keep my community empowered, as well as I understand that a lot of people can't afford credit services. A lot of people can't afford financial services. So I created a Facebook group where I'm actually teaching people how to do this thing by themselves, teaching you how to repair your credit by yourself, how to invest by yourself, how to manage money by yourself. And if it's something that you feel like you just can't do, by the time you've started just a little bit, and I make it so plain as if it was my 21-year-old self trying to understand it. It's a judgment-free zone. Everybody encourages each other. And one thing that I love about it is everybody's now willing to answer questions. I have people say all the time, I'm becoming a credit junkie in here. I check my credit report when I wake up, before I go to sleep, like something's really changed. So even though everybody can't afford my services, I try to give them a place where they can express themselves, where they can try to understand, as well as, do it on their own, because everybody can't afford it. And it's not that, because I remember back at that time, I could not afford credit services. So I'm trying to give, I always think about where I came from and try to implement, my everyday life and what I'm doing based on that 21-year-old me, that 18-year-old me that messed up and had to get out of it. So those are some of the ways that I actually try to, keep the community together and impact them.
Listen, Coach T, you are off the chain. I hope you all are taking notes. And listen, this needs to be in your replay list. Now, throughout the week, I will pick certain lives to go back and watch again. I always watch the things that I host the next day because, right now we're in an exhilarating moment. This is adrenaline. We're excited, but I always go back the next day. This interview right here. You need to go ahead and add this to your saved content and come back and watch this, because Coach T is dropping jewels. And it's just so phenomenal how God is using you to answer questions that people send in the SheEO district every single day. Wow. And so you're just such a blessing. I'm going to be telling you that throughout this live. You are such a blessing to us. and you are a blessing to me. Did y'all hear she saying she's giving away $1,000? Go follow her right now. Go follow her right now. This is the 99th reason why you need to follow her, because she be giving away $1,000. Listen, even the fact that you created a group to go and give people a starting place. You know, because everybody knows that coach that charges $20,000 for their coaching services. And listen, I'm gonna get there. There's a place for that. There's a place for that. But I love from that same $20,000 an hour coach can say, listen, come on into my group. There's some things I can do to get you started. There's a few things I can show you while no one's looking to get you in the right headspace. And that is a powerful place to be at 27 years. Oh, Lord, I'm so excited about the future of young people by listening. Now, listen, I ain't old, honey. I'm still, together. Let me just put that out there, okay? Sis is turning 40 this year, but I'm just, you're giving me hope for all of my young nieces, my young nephews, my children. I have a child in college. You give us hope, Coach T. So thank you for that. So I don't want to skip over tonight's topic about overcoming the fear of rejection. You talked about how people rejected you, told you that you weren't capable, put your past back in your face, and even how you possibly rejected yourself by telling yourself, I don't know if I'm capable enough. I don't know if I really have it, So what are some steps that we can take in our minds personally to overcome fear?
The first one is affirmations. I'm really big on affirmations. And here's the thing. Don't type them out. Handwrite them. And write them on a sheet of paper. And you got to go. Sometimes you got to bring it back. I know it's cute to put them in the frame, but let's be honest. You got something in the frame. How many times do you look at that quote a day? You don't, right? So what I had to start by doing is writing some affirmations and putting them in a place that I always go. Because when you wake up in the morning, you got to wash your face, you got to brush your teeth. I put it right there next to the mirror. So every morning when I get up, as I'm brushing my teeth, I am strong. I can do this. I know that I can do this. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm beautiful. And I had to tell myself that over and over again, because I'm a mindset coach, y'all. Y'all know it's coming. Because you have to start thinking it in order to believe it. And I'm a firm believer about alignment. And what your mind thinks, your mouth has to say. What your mouth says, your eyes have to see. What your eyes see, your ears have to hear. And what your ears hear, your heart has to believe. And in order for those to be aligned, you have to literally make sure that they're going together. And if you don't say it, if you think that I'm going to have a successful business, but you say I can't do it, the likelihood of it happening is slim to none. So first, you have to start with affirmations. Tell yourself every morning that you can and that you will. And you have to tell yourself why you're going to do it. Why is it important to you to finish? Why is it important for you to not quit? Why is it important for, you not to believe what people said that you couldn't do and what you couldn't be? You have to tell yourself that. You got to remember that. So the first one is always affirmations. I'm really, really big on telling yourself that you can do it. And then the second one is write the vision, make it plain. You got to write things out. A lot of times, we consume the rejection because we aren't confident in ourselves. And see, confidence is a mindset thing. It's not even a self-esteem. There's no way that your self-esteem says that I'm not confident. It's something that triggers that lack of confidence, whether you're afraid of, your potential for real, or whether you're afraid of what people may think. And a lot of times, let's be real, I'm sure people will agree. A lot of the things that you're afraid of right now, especially with rejection, is your thought of what somebody thinks about you or your business. How do you know what those people are thinking? You're not a mind reader, nor are you psychic, right? So you got to stop allowing yourself to think that somebody's going to think something of you, because a lot of us don't start the business. We don't grow in business because we're afraid if I change this, said person's not going to like it. It's not their business. Stop allowing small-minded people the opportunity to hear your big vision until you launch that big vision. You have to be willing to separate yourself, because separation is required when you're elevating. So you have to really get in a point that you write it out, write the vision, make it plain. So that way, when people come to you and say that you can't, or say that they don't want you, it doesn't stop you, because you know where you're going. A lot of us get afraid because we hear that no, or somebody tell us they don't want it. And because we don't have a backup, we didn't have a backup, it makes us stop where we are, because we don't know what else to do. Now that this person said no, I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. And if you have a plan, that no won't be as hard on you, because you know where you're going after that.
Listen, Coach, I got to interrupt you, Coach.
Yeah.
I'm loving this. But you said stop letting small-minded people hear your big vision. Baby, yes. Listen, that's a whole series, Coach. Whoa, that's a whole series. Stop letting small-minded people see and hear your big vision. Right. They can't even hold it, so they're going to reject it anyway. They can't. If you have a small mind, you can't hold the big thing that I have inside of me to share with the world, but we're so quick to share it for validation. Man, this is so
You don't have the capacity to hold what it is that I carry. So because you don't have that capacity, when I pour it into you or when I pour it over you, you don't have the ability to hold it anyway. So you're going to want to push it back, because you don't have any room to understand. And that's what a lot of people have to understand, is that everybody that you're talking to, you're allowing seasonal people, lifetime positions. So when you try to explain these dreams and these visions to them, they don't understand it, because it was never meant for them to understand.
You just said, listen, Coach, every time I take a breath, you say something, I have to come back to it. Oh my God. You say you don't have the capacity to hold what I was called to carry. How about that? How about that for the woman who says, there's 25 people that I know doing this. Why would I go after this? Because they don't have the capacity to hold what you specifically were called to carry. Listen, that's called brand identity. I know what that is. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And you ask yourself, though, so you say, I'm not going to do this because everybody around me is doing it. Well, you got to think, we talked about it, it's a mind thing. That makes no sense, right? That's all the reason for you to get into the industry, or get into, whatever that brand is or whatever that niche is, because it's proven success. You don't want to get into something that you don't know is going to work. So a lot of people allow anxiety and fear to tell them not to do it because everybody else around them is doing it. But the mindset, when you shift your mindset, your money shifts. So I'm going to get in this industry because it's proven success. Everybody's doing it. But what makes me different? Everybody's not your target audience. Everybody's not your client. But as long as you flow and be personable and you actually be yourself, it doesn't matter how many people are doing it, how many people are selling it, how many people are saying it. As long as you're different, that's what's important. And we got to get to a point where we're not afraid to walk in our gifts because everybody else is doing it. You know how many coaches are out there? Quite a bit of them. But what makes T different? And that's what I have to get up and tell myself every day. Everybody may fix credit. Everybody may be a financial coach. Everybody may be a mindset coach. But that means that people need what it is that I'm offering. So I have to get in an industry that it has proven success instead of jumping out there into something that may not have proven success. And if I am going to jump out there for something that doesn't have proven success, what's going to make me stand out so people want what it is I have to offer?
Listen, she is getting this. Listen, I don't even know if I have edges. I just got these braids sitting up here. I don't even know if I got edges anymore, y'all. I'll have to check later because wow. I mean, listen, if she's not hitting on something that you've thought to yourself, listen, I don't know what to tell you because she's touching on every single thing, every fear. We're talking about the fear of rejection and overcoming fear. But she's touching on all aspects of fear, not just rejection, but, we hold ourselves back. We doubt ourselves. She just said, if there's an area where everyone's doing, that's an area of proven success. That's a mindset shift. Listen, sis, I don't care how many people are baking cookies, and I don't know who needs to bake these cookies because I always use a baker as my example because I love pastries and sweet things, but I don't need them all the time. I love them. But listen, if y'all bake cookies, send them to me, honey. I'll try them out. But go ahead and bake the cookies, sis. Bake them, okay? Against all odds. So let me just cover our ground. We're talking about overcoming fear and how to actually do that. And Coach T is walking us through that. The first thing she said was overcoming fear through affirmations, not typing them, but hand writing them, getting that eye hand brain coordination contact thing going on. Okay. Mm-hmm. Second thing she said was writing the vision and making it plain. Write down what you see, write down your vision and be quiet about it. And don't talk to small-minded people about it. Okay, what's our number 3, Coach? Do you have number 3 for me?
Yes. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to make sure my laptop's plugged up. I don't want it to die. Okay. What I would say the number 3 is believe in yourself first. And that's pretty cliche. Everybody says it, right? I believe in me. I believe in me. I believe in me. But that starts with knowing your why. And let's be honest. Sometimes why is not a person. It might be a thing, right? It may be an action. So for years, I literally would say, my why is my son. My why is my son. My why is my son. But yet I lack the motivation. And I had to go back and tell myself, if you lack motivation when you say every day that your son is your why, maybe he's not the actual why.
Come on.
And I had to get to a point where it started to be a thing or a feeling versus an actual person. So my why was, I never want him to be hungry again. I never want to be this broke again. It wasn't necessarily the person, but it was the situation. So you really gotta believe in you. You got to know what it is that you're doing. You got to know why you're doing it. And sometimes reevaluate that. If you are afraid right now of people telling you no, you need to go back and say, why am I really afraid of that?
Come on.
Because let's be real. We were kids and our mom told us no all the time. And guess what we did? Went and go ask dad. And if dad said no, we went and asked granny. So what makes this moment right now different? What makes your business different? People are going to say no. People are going to tell you that you can't. People are going to tell you that you want. But your mom told you you can't. Your granny told you that you won't. I bet you won't do it. I bet you won't touch it.
You went ahead and did it anyway.
Touched it anyway, right? So what makes those moments then different from now? As kids, I kind of say it like this. I don't know if it's the right phrase or not. But as kids, we didn't have conscience. We didn't care. Mama said, no, I'm going to ask somebody else. Society allowed us to be afraid and start shutting down when people tell us no. You got to start getting back to that little girl in you when you were excited, when you were happy, when they told you, listen, mama said, my daughter does it all the time. If I tell her no, guess what? She's going to dad like, hey, dad, mom said no, but I was wondering if you would say yes. And she would completely say it. Like, hey, sis, you said no, but I'm asking my dad because I know he's going to say yes without asking you. Those are the things that you have to think about. When you were a child, your parents told you no, adults told you no, you were still willing to do it. Why was that? Go back to that and say, hey, you might have told me no, I can't get that business loan, but guess what? I'm going to go ask this bank because I'm sure they're going to tell me yes. Oh, you said no too? Let me go ask granny then. You got to be willing to continue to fight because let's be real. I got to be honest. I got to be transparent. Had I really and truly just gave up, I wouldn't know what it feels like to be a 6-figure earner. If I allowed what they told me about my business and how it wouldn't be successful, I would have never been able to coach other women to getting to that place. What happens? We already know what it feels like to quit. Right. What does it mean to keep going? You don't know what the end is like. You got to keep on going and believing in you because if you don't believe in you, you can't expect somebody else to.
Listen, y'all, I'm about through. Because she just said, we all know what it feels like to give up, but you don't know what it feels like to keep going. Wow. Just, oh my goodness. I have to go back to this, Coach. You said one of the last ways to overcome fear in your life and get to the money, really. It starts with your mindset. You say you have to believe in yourself, but not just believe in yourself. You said believe in yourself first. And, today is International Women's Day. So speak to the woman that doesn't put herself first, that puts everyone else first and thinks she's doing a service to the world. How would you coach her? How would you start with that woman?
I take it back to your teacup love. We all used to play tea house, and what is it, tea party?
Party.
And we got our little saucers, and we have our little glass, and we sip, right? Ladies, I want you to think about your teacup. There is no way possible that you can love from what you're already composed of, what you have in you. You got to be willing to love from your overflow. That means that you got to be right for yourself before you can be right for anybody else. You got to take care of yourself before you try to take care of anybody else. You cannot, and I had to learn this the hard way, you run yourself ragged trying to be superwoman and not focusing on self. You, first of all, you don't owe a single soul your life. Not a single human being. We all breathe the same air. We all bleed the same way, right? There's a lot of times where I literally would not do things because of what I thought family would think or how family would perceive it. And I was miserable. If you're doing it for everybody else, if you're worried about everybody else, who's doing it for you? Who's focusing on you? You got to be willing, because you have to understand you dehydrate yourself when you're trying to pour out things that you don't have. That's like turning over an empty bottle of water with nothing in it. How are you going to feel and hydrate yourself if there is nothing there? That's the same way you got to think about your life and who you are. You got to be willing to love. Hey, look, I got my glass, but this is mine. And if I ain't got nothing else, there ain't nothing I got for you. Now, once I have some overflow, then it's yours. You got to be willing to say no. Understand, no is a complete sentence. Ask your teacher, they'll tell you the same thing. No, period. Stop explaining yourself when you tell people no. Stop giving people explanations to why you said no. It's simple. And if you don't understand it, then you can't be connected. I had to literally get to a point where I had to say, and my friends laugh at me all the time, you get 3 minutes to tell me about your problems. In that 3 minutes, if you don't have a solution, let me call you back. Because one thing you have to learn is the energy that you put into yourself. We talked about alignment. If you're allowing people to be on your phone for 45 minutes complaining about life, what have you done? You're feeding your spirit that negative energy. So now your whole day is thrown off and you're upset and you're discouraged and you're sad about something that don't have nothing to do with you. You're giving away your last to make sure other people are straight. But you got to look at it like this. If you got yourself and your family member building a house, and every minute you look over, you're passing a brick to somebody else, by the end of you passing those bricks out, you have a whole pavement with no house, and then you got somebody with a full-fledged mansion next door to you. And what's crazy is they won't even allow you a space on their couch when you need it and it's raining outside. They're going to tell you to find a way to get shelter when you gave them everything you had to build what they're standing on. Take care of you first. Focus on you first. If you can't love you, how do you expect somebody else to love you? If you don't support you, how do you expect somebody else to support you? If you can't hug yourself and say, T, baby, I love you. You're the best. You're going to be a millionaire. I wake up every morning. Sometimes my husband be like, okay, shut up. I'm a millionaire. Time just haven't caught up with me yet. Are you talking to yourself? I am. I'm a millionaire. Time just haven't caught up with me yet. And what's crazy is I had to learn. I did not learn that at first. I did not do that at first. I literally took care of everybody else. And it was that moment, y'all, when I literally I hit rock bottom. I wasn't myself for weeks and not a soul noticed. But I got 14 and 15 friends that are sitting next to me, calling my phone every day, telling me about their problems. And not one time did you notice I wasn't myself. You got to get to a point that if there was somebody in your life right now, that if I said I'll give you $2 million to let go of one person in your life, if you can tell me right now who you're letting go, that means that person does not bring value. You got to be willing to reevaluate your circle, because if you feel like you're stuck and you got all these friends, my friend, you don't have a circle. You're simply in a cage. You're sitting with people that are holding you down, and you're not going to get anywhere with baggage. Love you first. Be willing to cut people off and understand that elevation requires separation. And if you don't separate yourself from the people that are not helping you grow, if it ain't helping you grow, if it ain't helping you glow, baby, you got to let it go.
Baby, you gotta let it go. It
You
is
gotta
a
let go.
2K. Listen, Coach T did not come to play. I started waving the white flag like I can't do no more. Listen, you got to give me a chance to breathe now. Oh my God, I can only imagine what it's like to be in one of your courses, to be in one of your seminars. You've got to tell us where and how we can find you. Please tell us, Coach. We cannot let this go.
Okay. So I am on Facebook, and that's T Birdsong, TEE Birdsong, like under my picture. And then pretty much all my social media outlets. My Instagram is I am T Birdsong as well. So, and then my website is T Birdsong online. So, if anybody wants to connect, don't hesitate. One thing I'm gonna tell you, I'm a coach before I'm your friend. My goal is to shift your mindset so that your money does shift. So if you're not willing to be stretched, you got to be able to be stretched in order to grow. If you ain't willing to be stretched, I'm not the coach for you. If you don't want me to be your annoying little sister, I'm not the coach for you, because I don't want to believe in you more than you believe in you. So you got to be willing. You got to be ready.
Come on. Come on.
Be ready.
Come on. Listen, she has told us where to find her. And she said, when you get there, don't come in here trying to be my friend. I'm not trying. Y'all got friends. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What you need is these 6 figures in your bank account. What you need is to get organized in your mind first so that your money can shift. Listen, I have taken notes mentally. I'm coming back and I'm watching the replay. Coach, before we let you go, you got to give us like one last word of wisdom, one last thing we can go off of until the next time we connect with you, because we're going to all get off this live and go follow you immediately. So what can you leave us with?
Growth. As you elevate, you think about the mountain, right? And I was saying this to my following a couple of weeks ago. The mountain goes from being wide to being steep. If you start going up that mountain and you start hiking, for all my people that hike, you may start at the bottom of that mountain with 14 bags, but I guarantee you by the time you make it to the top of that mountain, you won't have all those bags. What does that mean? The higher that you go, the harder it gets. Everybody cannot go with you to the top. If you're saying you want to be a millionaire, you got to understand that everybody that's connected to you right now may not be able to go to the top with you. How much baggage are you willing to carry to the top? Because the more baggage you keep, the longer it's going to take to get up there. You're normally walking, and then the higher you go, now you have to fight. You have to climb to make it to the top. When you get up there, you got your hands on your knees, you got your shoulders out like, Lord Jesus, I'm tired, right? You got to be willing to let go of the baggage so that you can get where you're going. Don't be afraid of people telling you no. Don't be afraid of people telling you that you can't. You're talking to somebody 27, 6 figures. You know how many people told me no? You know how many of my family don't support me? My biggest support are the people that I've never even met in person. Don't be afraid. Don't allow family to hold you down, to consume you. You got to be willing to prove them wrong too. Sometimes you got to tell your family, you thought I wasn't going to make it? Boom, here I am. Don't be afraid. Take it from somebody that had to literally, it wasn't handed to me. I had to work for it. You can't want success without putting in the work. Don't be afraid of what they say about you. You got to come back and tell them what you said. It ain't about what you said about me. It's about what I said about me. And this is who I'm going to be. That's what you got to remember.
Listen. Wow. Now, we did have a question. Someone said, can you repeat what you said about elevation? I'm trying to write it down.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Elevation requires separation. The higher you get, you can't take everybody with you. So you got to be willing to let those people go so that you can make it to the top. You got to get uncomfortable.
Listen, we are so full. Let me just remind you all that we started off this conversation tonight in the back of her vehicle, homeless with her and her son. at her breaking point, at her lowest point. Everyone had left her. She was riding around trying to literally survive day to day. And she made up in her mind by telling her son, listen, I will never allow you to live this life that I'm living right now. And then a chain of events began to take place because she shifted her mind. Her energy shifted, her desire shifted, and she began to get her credit together. As she got her credit together, she said, there's got to be people that need to know this information. She coached her first client, terrified and scared, but she did it anyway. And she gave herself room to grow. She gave herself grace. And along the way, she's coached a lot of people and made a lot of money and gave a lot of it back to her community. This is the type of woman you need to be connected to. And this is the type of value that the SheEO is bringing to you all each and every day. Listen, y'all, it is business week here in the SheEO district, but let me remind you, it is also relaunch week. Relaunch simply means to reintroduce yourself. We are reintroducing you to what we bring to the table, how we want to bless you and strengthen you. And Coach T, let me just say, you have knocked this out the park. If I had to choose one guest to reintroduce what we mean and what we offer here in the SheEO district, it would be you. I am so blessed to have hosted you tonight, to be connected to your wisdom and your energy, and you have this way about you that makes people want to just I want you to keep talking. I want more. I want more. I want more. So listen, we're going to follow her at I am T Birdsong everywhere where motivation is heard. Okay. Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of that. Listen, I'm going to pray us out. And I'm going to speak a blessing over you because I'm just so thankful for you tonight. And listen, if you're out there listening tonight, go ahead and show some love to Coach. Tell her how much she blessed you and join in with me for this prayer. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for the words that came from Coach T Birdsong. Thank you so much for showing her how to take her pain and turn it into a purpose, and allowing that purpose to bring prosperity to her and her family, her generation. I ask you to bless her husband, bless her children, Lord God, and bless everyone that comes under the sound of her voice, under the sound of her leadership, under the sound of her guidance. God, I ask you to maximize and multiply the works of her hands, the works of her thoughts, the works of her strength and her energy, Father God. I ask, Lord God, that women would literally find out about her through several different ways, Lord God. And they would just say, who's Coach T? I want to know more about her. And their lives would literally change. I thank you for healing, Lord God, even the places that still hurt from rejection, the places that still hurt from people not believing, the places that still hurt from people not receiving, Lord God. Even as the finances come in, Lord God, I ask for a greater shower of healing in her soul, Lord God. I just thank you for every woman that's listening tonight that was afraid to jump, was afraid to launch, was afraid to step out there, Father God. I thank you that you have charged us. You have convicted us, Lord God, to go after those great things, Lord God, even while we're afraid, even while we don't have it all together. I thank you, Lord God, that this wisdom that we got tonight will not fall on deaf ears. It will not be eaten up on untilled ground, Lord God, but we would take this word that we heard tonight and we would work this word, Lord God. We would match it with faith and action, Lord God, and we would see a great harvest in our own lives, 30, 60, and 100-fold. In Jesus' name, amen. Listen, y'all, this is the SheEO district. If you were ever scared to join, listen, jump, okay? Jump into this wonderful place where we grow and we love together and we're unified and we have a sisterhood and we don't let anybody stay stuck where they used to be. I love you all. Good night. Thank you, Coach.